Hello lovely friends and welcome back to Cinnamon Sanctuary. If you are new to my channel, a really warm welcome to you. Thank you so much for stopping by. Today we are going to make another takeaway classic, sesame chicken, which has been fried and coated in a sort of soy-based caramelized sauce and of course garnished with sesame seeds. It's honestly delightful, so if you want to find out how I go about making this, please stay tuned. I'm using boneless and skinless chicken legs for this recipe because if you know me, you know I prefer legs to breast. I think they are a lot juicier. So I'm just going ahead and slicing them into bite-sized pieces, after which we can go ahead and season them. To season your chicken, you're going to need some garlic powder, but if you prefer, you can also use fresh garlic cloves, and 2 cloves should do for this amount of chicken. I also went in with some black pepper, a little bit of table salt, as well as a tablespoon and a half of dark soy sauce. If you don't have dark soy sauce, you can also use a lighter version. That will work very well as well. Also adding 1 egg white, a little bit of baking soda just to tenderize the chicken, and 1 tablespoon of cornstarch. Now once all of this has been added, you can go ahead and mix it up. I'm now covering the bowl with some cling film and I'm going to let the chicken marinate in the fridge for approximately half an hour, during which time we can go ahead and start on our sauce, which is going to be the base of the chicken. So I just went in with about 3 tablespoons of brown sugar, and I'm also adding some runny honey, and I think these will make about 2 tablespoons of runny honey. But I'm going to put in all of the ingredients used as well as the measurements in the description box, so don't worry about this. I'll make sure that it's all added. So I also went in with a couple of tablespoons of dark soy sauce as well as 2 tablespoons of ketchup. Also went in with about 2 tablespoons of water and some rice vinegar. If you don't have rice vinegar, you can also go ahead and use any type of wine vinegar that you may have, as long as it's white. Mix it all up and set aside for later. I have 1 cup of cornstarch in my container, to which I added about a tablespoon of black pepper and mixing it all up. And the cornstarch is going to serve to coat the chicken pieces prior to frying them. So I'm adding them in individually because the idea is to ensure that they don't stick together. They do stick quite easily. And if they stick in the oil, it's going to be very hard. It's going to be more complicated to separate them. So I just find it easier to make sure that they all stay separated. So I added the chicken onto the starch in 1 layer, and I'm kind of turning them around to make sure that each individual piece is coated. And I find that the best way to ensure that each piece is nicely coated is to make sure that your container is closed, shake it about a little bit, and then open it up, and you will find that all of your chicken is coated. I poured 2 cups of vegetable oil into my cast iron pan, which I've left to heat up for a little bit before adding the chicken pieces. So the chicken is going to be fried in 2 batches because I wanted to avoid overcrowding the pan, again to ensure that the chicken pieces don't stick together. And these cook very quickly, so you'd have to ensure that you keep turning them around from time to time. And I think in total it took me about 6 minutes to cook both batches individually. And the chicken is going to be fried twice. So this is the first batch done, and I'm going to add the second batch once this has been removed, and this will also cook for about 6 minutes, after which time we're going to return the chicken once it has rested for a bit. But I'll talk you through this in a minute. So this is the second batch that's frying now, and I'll show you what they look like once they are done. Here we go, they've been fried for the first time, so they're not entirely done. We're going to return them in about 10 minutes. I like to let them rest for a little bit before returning them into the hot pan. It's been 10 minutes later and the chicken is ready for round number 2, and these will only need to stay in the oil for about 3 to 4 minutes. And let me tell you, double frying the chicken is really a game changer. If you want to achieve a really crunchy consistency, I suggest you go about frying your chicken twice. So here is the final result. So we can set this aside whilst we go about making our sauce. In my wok, I'm now going to add the sauce that we made earlier, and we're working with medium heat here because the sauce will need to cook very slowly. Remember, there is sugar in there, so this is basically going to caramelize. So you want to keep stirring the sauce until it comes to a boil, and then once it's slightly boiling, you can go ahead and add a thickener made using 2 teaspoons of cornstarch and 2 teaspoons of water. So you just keep stirring and it's going to get even thicker, and once you reach the desired consistency, you can also add your chicken. So I think I let this cook for about 6 minutes in total, but you might need this to be a little bit thicker. If that's the case, then you might want to leave it cooking for a bit longer. So for me, this was perfect, and I went in with my chicken, and you just want to stir and make sure that the sauce is nicely incorporated into the chicken. Now also going in with about a tablespoon of sesame seeds, and ideally I would have toasted them, but I didn't have a lot of time, so I thought I'll just put them in like this, but they still came out really nice. And I'm just stirring this all in, and as a final touch, I went in with about a tablespoon of sesame oil, and it's adding this extra flavor, and this is sesame chicken, right? So you want to make it as extra as you possibly can. So here you go, this is your final result. The sesame chicken is ready. We've been working on really low heat throughout, medium to low heat, so you want to make sure that that is the case. And this goes perfectly with some white rice. It is absolutely delicious, or if you want to just snack on them, you could do that as well. But I'm just plating it up with some white rice, and it was a delight to eat. I really hope you replicate this. I hope you enjoyed watching this. If you did, hit the like button, and I'll see you very soon on my next video. Thank you for watching. Bye.